G'day, g'day, g'day. This is Charlie, and I'm coming to you today from my locals community with your daily dose of business inspiration. Come on over and join me at askcharlieleetham.locals.com. You can join the community for free. You can join the conversations by becoming a supporter. That will give you access to the actually adding comments to the conversations, creating your own conversations, accessing supporter-only content, and of course it also helps me to keep creating content like this, like my podcasts and like my tutorials. Let's get on with today's topic though. Topic number 163, the importance of work-life balance. Now, in previous videos, and I still stand by this, I say that work-life balance, as I was taught it, is a load of bunk. It doesn't exist. It's not like you're going to work 4 hours every day and then have work for 4 hours and then have 4 hours of lifestyle, right? Every day, consistently. It just doesn't happen that way. And it's really important that we think about that and we start to retrain ourselves on what work-life balance really is. Now, before we go any further, what I want to do here is just talk about why work-life balance is important and why we're taught to have work-life balance. Sorry, I have so many words trying to all come out at once. Work-life balance, having a balance between our work and our lifestyle, lifestyle, well-being, if you like, enhances our well-being. If we can balance our professional responsibilities against our personal time, it helps reduce stress and prevents burnout. It helps us increase our productivity. Of course it does. And it makes sure that we strengthen our relationship, not just with our work colleagues, but also with our friends and our family, which to me is really important. I'm going to come back to a couple of these points in a minute though. I'm just looking at my notes, making sure I've covered everything that I want to before I go into my little rant here. Yep. Okay. We'll come back to those ones. So when we talk about work-life balance in that respect though, what makes good work-life balance for me doesn't make good work-life balance, or may not make good work-life balance for the person sitting next to me, or you, or my dad, or my brother, or my son, or my daughter. Every one of us have different requirements on what work-life balance means to them and then that will affect how we achieve it and what it means and what it means. I keep saying that. So let me give you an example. I know a young man, and he talks about he and his wife work 12, 14 hours a day. Now they're younger. They're working on their own business. They're building their own business. And his comment is, I would rather work until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I would rather work across the weekends because I love what I do. Now, it helps that his wife is doing it with him and has her own business and they're building these businesses together. That certainly helps. But he gets something out of the fact that he's building that business and he's doing that business all the time, if that makes sense. For myself, work-life balance is a little different again than it is for other people. I adore what I do. I adore working. I love helping people. I love doing things. I also find that I get to a point where I am just emotionally, I'm going to use the term bereft. It's a big word, I know, but I'm emotionally bereft. I'm drained because I put so much into my work. I put so much into helping people that at some points, and I don't realize it's occurring, I start to get very drained. I start to get very tired, and I start to get very emotional myself. Like I'll cry at the drop of a hat. I cry when there's when there's certain music on. That's normal, but I'll cry at a drop of a hat when I start to get to this point. I also find that I start to get a little bit crabby and cranky. So for me, at that point, what I need to do is I need to take a step back, and I used to call it a mental health day. I think some people still do call them mental health days. I just take some time out and go and touch grass, take my shoes off, walk barefoot on grass, quite literally, go for a swim, go for a walk. Now, as a younger woman, I didn't pick up on these, and I was very ill. I became very ill as a result of it. And I'm not sure I was actually such a nice person at that point in time. I know there's some of you are probably sitting there saying, you're not such a nice person now. But I'm not sure I was, I'm not sure I was as fun to be around. How about we say that? So for me, at that point, I had to learn how to balance my drive to be successful, my drive to continue working, my drive to be a perfectionist against the fact that my emotional being, my spiritual being needed something else in its mix. Today, that has progressed to, well, rather than starting work at 7 a.m. or 7:30, what I do now, and this is only a recent thing, so we'll see how we go in another couple of months, but for the last couple of months, instead of starting work so early, what I do is I get my joggers, I throw my joggers on, and I go for a walk for an hour. Yeah, I walk for an hour. I get out and I walk. It's power walking now. It wasn't at the time. It was a stagger. It was a limp. Now it's more of a power walk. And I walk for that hour and I come back and I'm exhausted physically, not mentally because I haven't been doing anything yet, but physically I'm exhausted. I go and get myself breakfast, get myself a cup of coffee, go and sit down and eat my breakfast, which is something I never used to do. Sit down, eat my breakfast, have my cup of coffee, and then I start work. And I found that I am just that much more productive as a result of it. I'm actually managing to balance that out. And then of an evening, when I shut down, I don't just shut the computer down and say, right, I'm done for work. I'll go and put a game on. I'll go and watch a movie. I'll go and do something that just lets me wind down for the evening. So I have my little routine. So that's part of my work-life balance. That's helped me become better within myself. I'm certainly more productive. I think I am. And yeah, it's strengthening relationships. I actually am on my own at the moment. Like I am literally on my own at the moment where I am. There's no one here. I'm just house sitting for someone and I have no family or friends around me, but I still reach out to my family and friends electronically and have a chat to them. So there's some thoughts about work-life balance. So what works for me won't work for you. What is right for me isn't necessarily right for you. When someone says you need better work-life balance, well, you need to maybe don't challenge them on it, but think to yourself, what is right for you isn't necessarily right for me. And maybe you need to just step away and think about, well, why are they saying that to me? Some of the strategies that you can actually implement, I've already given you one, like I go for a walk and I have my breakfast and then I start work. I know people are saying, Charly, that's normal stuff. Wasn't for me. Not at all. I mean, I'd be lucky to get breakfast some mornings because I'd be busy working. But some of the strategies are have clear boundaries between your work and your personal time. Maybe that might work for you. It's not something that works particularly well for me. What I would agree with this statement here, though, is that when it is personal time, I try not to check my work emails. I try not to take work calls during my personal hours. Now, sometimes that doesn't work, and for some people, that just isn't going to cut the mustard. That isn't what they do, and it's not great for them. But do set boundaries. And work out what those boundaries are. For me, it came down to I'm not taking calls on the weekend. Or more importantly, yes, I know you want this job done over the weekend. I'm not doing it. I will do it on Monday. It is now Friday afternoon. You're asking me to do it today. That means I will do it Monday or Tuesday based on what my workload is. No, I'm not doing it on the weekend. I've got things planned for the weekend. And I'm pretty steady on that one because I just found that people were pushing a little bit harder and taking up more and more of my own time and more of me. As I said, I got very crabby and very emotional as a result of it. Prioritizing tasks. I cannot highlight how important this one is to me. and I think it is to most people. Use time management techniques to prioritize your tasks effectively. Focus on your high impact activities and delegate or eliminate non-essential tasks. So don't just get busy being busy, which is really what that's saying. High impact activities. Again, we all handle things differently. We all look at things differently, but I work on the 4 quadrants. I've got my hands up. I've got 4 quadrants, and the stuff that's in my top left-hand corner up here, which is urgent and important, that's the stuff that gets my focus to begin with. Then I go to important and not urgent, and then I go to not important, urgent, and not important, whichever way it is, and then I go to all the other stuff. And what falls down in this far quadrant, I may or may not get to, and I'm not going to beat myself up about, because that's stuff that's not important. It's more nice to have. So that's one way I handle it. But work out how to prioritize your tasks and work out where you're going to get the term most bang for your buck when it comes to working on something. Scheduling personal time. Now, I know some people really sort of buck up at this one. It's actually worked really well for me, because I do really enjoy working, and it can fill up all of my time quite easily. So scheduling personal time. So in my calendar, I have go for a walk. I have it's time to spend time with dad, or daddy time. It's time if my daughter said, let's go shopping, I put shopping with my daughter in my calendar. I actually block it out in my calendar. So it is an event. It's in my calendar. I'm going to do it. And so you schedule your personal time just as you would schedule your work time. Again, that doesn't work for everyone, but it's something that works for a lot of people. So try it out. When you get to a point, though, that it's all too much and you're just so busy being busy, and I keep saying that, but that's what it really feels like. You're busy being busy. You might be doing really high impact work, work that has a real meaning and stuff, but you're still busy being busy. There's a couple of things you can do to try and reduce the stress and start prioritizing your own self and your own self-care. Mindfulness practices, so incorporate techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, or yoga into your daily routine to manage stress and stay present. Yeah, that's okay. Like I said, I often will just take my shoes off and go and stand out in the grass and let my feet touch grass, or I will go out and touch grass, quite literally, ground myself to bring myself back into the present and remind me of what's important. Regular breaks they are important. They might be difficult to get to, but they are important. So take regular breaks throughout your workday to recharge. They don't have to be long. They just need to be 5 minutes. I've got a oh, look, it's come up. I've got a Fitbit, and it's actually got a little timer and a little alarm clock on it, and I've got it set so that it pings me every 2 hours to get up and move for a little bit, even if it's just 10 minutes at a time. I like to drink my coffee, so I get up to make coffee. And when I get up to make coffee, I go for a walk around the kitchen or do something. So take regular breaks. And your lifestyle choices, healthy lifestyle choices, are also important. Your diet has a massive impact on how you feel about yourself, and how it affects your well-being and your self-esteem and your mental health. So try to look at your diet, make sure that it is nice and healthy, or reasonably healthy. Try and get some good sleep. So many of us don't sleep enough. I know I don't. It's something I've struggled with for years. But when I get, honestly, I get 5.5 hours and I feel like $1,000,000. I know a lot of people think that's not enough. I can work with 5.5 hours. It's better than what I was getting. And exercise regularly. I can't say the difference it's made getting out and just walking once a day. So have a look at your lifestyle choices. Now, what's the story that I've got to go with this? Because I have had a lot of stories lately. So the one that I want to share is Ariana Huffington and her journey to work-life balance. Most of us will know Ariana Huffington as co-founder of the Huffington Post, HuffPost, but she experienced a collapse from exhaustion in 2007, and that led her to reevaluate her lifestyle and prioritize well-being over the relentless work she'd been doing. She realized that the constant pressure to succeed was taking a toll on her health and happiness, and she decided to make significant changes, focusing on self-care, adequate sleep, and mindfulness practices. She's become an advocate for the importance of work-life balance, and she's launched a website, a business called Thrive Global, which is dedicated to well-being and productivity. So Ariana is like so many of us. She worked really hard and she wanted to be successful, and it led her not to balance out her own well-being against her business. Now, the last thing I wanted to say as a part of all of that, which came up as I was thinking about that, is that what fills my boat isn't going to fill your boat. Some of you will be able to work 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and it will be fine, and you only need a little bit of time for yourself. Some of you are going to need more, and that's okay. The other thing is you've got to ask yourself, is what you're doing in your work life actually fulfilling you? Is it something that is giving you meaning in your life? And if it isn't, maybe that's something that you need to address or look to address in the future, because it's going to hurt you in the long run. All right, guys. Now this is a longer video. I'm sorry. You've got a lot of my own personal stuff in there, and I don't know if that's helpful or not. It's just something I know that I've struggled with since I was a very young woman. I'd love to get your feedback on it. Come across to Locals, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. Join the conversation there. Let me know what you think. Let me know if it's too much, not enough, if I've missed the points, if I've missed anything, or if there's anything you want to add into what I've said already. As always, please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. Please leave reviews. Let me know what you think of the content. Positive reviews are fantastic. 5 stars is absolutely awesome. Thank you if you do that. But any feedback is good feedback. And maybe share this video with someone who you think is struggling a little bit, finding a balance in their own life. And I will see you all tomorrow for topic number 164, the art of time management. Very timely subject, I think. Sorry for the pun. I'll see you all tomorrow.